Ever feel like business runs on these like invisible tracks? We're always
Yeah.
focused on the product, the service, the bottom line.
Right.
But there's this unsung hero, right?
Mhm.
Making sure things actually run smoothly.
Yeah.
And in the world of business, you guessed it.
Contracts.
It's contracts.
Exactly. And in the age of SAP S/4HANA, those contracts, they're more important than ever, especially in your world, procurement.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's what this deep dive is all about. We're going deep into chapters 8 and 9 of that SAP S/4HANA guidebook you sent over.
Yeah.
Really looking at how these digital contracts can like completely streamline like your whole process.
Yeah, because let's be honest, the days of like shuffling these paper contracts, they're over.
Right.
With SAP S/4HANA, it's all about efficiency.
Yeah.
Having all the information you need right there at your fingertips.
Okay, so to kick things off, let's talk about those like bigger picture agreements, the ones that lay the groundwork for, smooth sailing and procurement.
Yeah.
It's like imagine you're buying, I don't know, a year's worth of office supplies. You don't want to sign a new contract every time you need more pens.
Exactly. In SAP, those are what we call your outline purchase agreements, right? They're
That's
kind
it.
of like the framework for all your regular purchases.
Okay.
Now, there are a few different types. Each one has its own use. But today, we're going to be focusing on purchase contracts because those are the ones that are really going to resonate with what you do every day.
Okay, so instead of like placing an individual order every time we need something,
Yeah, right.
we've got this purchase contract that locks in the prices, the quantities, maybe even the delivery schedule all up front.
Exactly. Think of it like a VIP pass for your most important purchases.
I like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So imagine you're a manufacturer and you need a steady supply of, I don't know, a specific type of steel throughout the year. A purchase contract with like a trusted supplier, that means you don't even have to worry about prices going up and down. Availability every time you have to put in an order. It's all taken care of.
That peace of mind, that predictability,
Huge.
look like invaluable these days.
Oh, absolutely. Especially in today's market.
Right,
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, but I'm guessing SAP S/4HANA, they don't just stop at like basic contracts.
No.
There's got to be some like next level organization happening behind the scenes.
Oh, you know SAP. Always got to be one step ahead.
Right.
And you're absolutely right. One size doesn't fit all when it comes to contracts. So that's why in S/4HANA, you've got quantity contracts. That's when you know exactly how many, widgets you need.
Uh-huh.
And then you've got value contracts. That's when you've got a budget in mind, but maybe you need to be a little more flexible with what you're buying throughout the year.
Okay, walk me through those.
Okay.
Let's say I'm buying like a year's worth of computer monitors for my team.
Okay.
That's a lot of screens.
Mm.
So which type of contract makes the most sense there?
So in that case, you're talking about a quantity contract.
Okay.
Right. You know how many monitors you need? You're locking in that number.
Right.
Probably getting a nice discount because you're committing to that volume up front.
Yeah.
It's about securing those goods up front.
Okay. But on the flip side, let's say I'm handling marketing materials.
Okay.
And my needs, they change all the time
Right.
throughout the year.
Yeah.
I might not know exactly what I need or how much we're going to be spending.
Right. So that's the perfect use case for a value contract.
Okay.
Instead of a fixed quantity, you're agreeing on a total spending limit with the supplier.
Okay.
It gives you that wiggle room to, adapt your orders throughout the year as those marketing campaigns come up, as long as you stay within that predefined budget.
So whether you need that, like predictability, or you need the wiggle room, the flexibility,
Sure.
Istanbul S7,
Yeah.
S4ADA has got you covered.
Exactly.
Okay. But how do we actually manage all these contracts? It's not like we're printing these things out, putting them in those like clunky file cabinets. Right. You're reading my mind.
Mm-hmm.
SAP S4ADA, they're all about those sleek digital solutions these days.
Right now. Absolutely.
It's the era of the Fiori app.
It is.
And let me tell you, from what I've seen, these apps, they're really changing the game when it comes to contract management.
Oh, for sure. Imagine this, right? Instead of like digging through those filing cabinets or
Right.
scrolling through like endless spreadsheets,
Mm-hmm.
you've got all of your contract information beautifully organized, easy to find, right there in one place.
We're talking about the Manage Purchase Contracts app, right? That's the one they highlight in here
Yes.
for handling all things contract.
That's your command center.
Okay.
For purchase contracts, you can find any contract,
Mhm.
look at the details, make changes, even renew them, all just like clicking around.
Nice.
It's really about putting you in control, making those like day-to-day tasks way easier.
And I'm guessing this isn't just about convenience, right?
No.
I mean, this organization, this level of organization, it's got to translate to some real benefits.
Huge benefits. Think about it. Let's say you need to update the payment terms for, I don't know, a bunch of your suppliers.
Okay.
Maybe there's a new company policy. In the past, you'd have to go through each contract individually, really,
right.
make the changes. But with S4HANA, you've got this mass changes feature. Do it all at once.
Wow.
Huge time saver.
It's like hitting the easy button for contract management.
Exactly.
But let's say I've got all my contracts set up, right?
Yeah.
Everything's in the system, everything's organized. What's next? What happens? We can't just set it and forget it.
You're hitting on a really important point, and that's monitoring. Right. You've got to stay on top of these contracts, make sure they're working, and be aware of any issues that could pop up. Remember, we talked about that contract blackout.
Right, where a contract just expires, and then suddenly you're left scrambling trying to find someone else.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Not good. So how does SAP S4HANA help us stay ahead?
So they've got this whole suite of Fiori apps specifically for monitoring your contracts.
Okay.
They're like your early warning system, alerting you to problems before they become big issues.
Okay, now you're talking. Give me some examples. What kind of insights are we getting with these apps?
Okay, so let's look at the Value Contract Consumption app, right? This app gives you a real-time view of how much you've spent on each contract.
Okay.
It's like a running tally, so you're never caught off guard when you're getting close to your limit.
Makes sense. Got to stay within budget.
Exactly.
Avoid those surprises.
Sure.
Okay, but what about keeping track of quantities, though? Let's say we've got a contract, we're buying 10,000 units of something.
Right.
How do we track that consumption?
So for that, you've got the Quantity Contract Consumption app.
Okay.
And that's all about tracking units. You can see how much you've ordered, how much is left.
So no more digging through purchase orders, like manually calculating.
No more calculators. It's all right there, updated in real time.
Love that.
And here's where it gets really cool. The app can actually predict your consumption based on, past data.
Whoa. Now that's next level.
Right. Like having a crystal ball for your contract.
Exactly.
And believe it or not, we're just scratching the surface.
Oh, no.
S4HANA has even more specialized apps. Think deep dive analysis. Imagine seeing all the contracts you haven't used in a while.
Oh, that's like finding money you didn't know you had.
Exactly. Or those purchases that slip through the cracks, happening outside of your main contracts.
Ah, yes. Because somebody needed something super fast and they just went around the system.
That's a classic example of contract leakage.
Right. And that's got to be a pain to try to track.
Oh, it's a huge problem. But of course, SAP's got an app for that.
There's an app for everything. So tell me about this app, this contract leakage app. What's it all about?
Think of it as your procurement detective.
Okay, I like it.
This app, it flags those rogue purchases, the ones happening outside of your negotiated agreements.
Gotcha.
So you can pinpoint exactly where you could be saving money if you were just using your contracts right.
So not only are we staying on top of the contracts we have, but we're also, finding ways to be even more efficient.
Yes. Plugging those financial leaks and making every dollar count.
I love it.
But, all of this, it hints at a bigger shift happening in the world of contract management. It's not just about individual agreements anymore. It's about a more holistic approach, what we call enterprise contract management.
Okay, so now we're thinking big picture.
We are.
What does that actually mean? Enterprise contract management.
Imagine every contract in your entire company, sales, legal, HR, procurement,
all of it.
all together, connected in one system.
So we're talking instead of everyone having their own separate system going on,
right?
Maybe they've got spreadsheets, shared drives, who knows? Yeah.
Exactly. It's all centralized.
Centralized and streamlined.
I bet that's a breath of fresh air for bigger companies especially.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Think about all that time wasted, searching for contracts, trying to track down approvals, making sure everything's consistent. It's a mess.
Yeah.
Enterprise contract management with S4HANA, it just brings all of that chaos together.
And when everything's organized, you can actually see what's going on. You can analyze, you can spot trends, make smarter decisions. It's like going from that hazy rearview mirror to a crystal clear heads-up display for your contracts.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. You're getting the bigger picture.
Yeah.
It's not just about managing, right? It's about using those contracts in a smart way to actually hit your business goals.
Exactly. Now, before we wrap up, there's one more type of agreement I want to hit on.
It's in the guidebook here. Scheduling agreements.
Yeah.
These seem super important, especially for making sure that flow of materials, that everything's running smoothly.
Scheduling agreements, they're like the metronome
Okay.
of your supply chain. Instead of those individual purchase orders, you agree on a set schedule with your supplier. Imagine you're a car manufacturer, right?
Okay.
You need a steady supply of tires to keep that production line humming. Scheduling agreement makes sure those tires show up right when you need them, the quantities you need. Price is already set.
So we're talking about taking the guesswork out of those, like, regular purchases.
Exactly.
No more last-minute orders, no surprises with prices.
Exactly. And just like with purchase contracts, SAP S4 EATA has got a dedicated app for that.
Of course they do.
Manage scheduling agreements.
Love it. Keep it all in one place.
You can create them, change them, view them, renew them, all right there.
I'm sensing a theme here. It's like SAP S/4HANA is all about giving you the tools, making it as easy as possible to actually manage this stuff.
That's it. It's a single platform. All the information is right there. It does a lot of the work for you, and you get to actually see what's happening with your contracts.
This has been a really, eye-opening deep dive. Seeing how much things have changed. It's not just about, signing on the dotted line anymore. It's about strategy. It's about being efficient and really understanding how contract can impact your bottom line.
And the best part is, we're just getting started. Technology is always evolving.
Always.
Who knows what kind of cool tools are right around the corner for contract management?
We might be on the edge of, a contract management revolution with AI and automation and, even more streamlined processes.
Now, that's something to think about.
It is. And for you, our listeners, the takeaway here is that this is important stuff. Contract management in SAP S/4HAN, it's a big deal. And with these tools, these approaches, you can get things done faster, save money, and, stay ahead of the game. In today's world, that's everything.